The huge alien ships appeared in Earth's sky on a Tuesday morning. They were dark and massive, blocking the sun in many places. These were the Garaxian ships, from a warrior race that had conquered many planets. Commander Skorthax stood on the bridge of his main ship. He had black scales covering his body, and 6 red eyes that watched the blue planet below. He felt proud. Earth would be his biggest victory yet. Scan the planet. Find their weapons and military bases, he ordered his crew. The alien crew moved quickly, pressing buttons on strange screens that glowed green. They were afraid of their commander. Skorthax was known for his anger and had killed crew members who failed him. "Humans seem weak, Commander," said Officer Krull, looking at the scan results. "They fight each other and have primitive weapons compared to ours." Skorthax made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Good. This will be easy then." Meanwhile, in the small town of Ridgemont, Joseph Carter was having a normal day. He was 32, with short brown hair and strong arms from his time in the military. Now he trained dogs for a living. This morning, he was in his backyard with his new puppy, Max. "Sit, Max. Good boy," Joseph said as the German Shepherd puppy followed his command. Max was only 4 months old, with big paws he hadn't grown into yet and ears that stood up too big for his head. Joseph didn't know about the aliens. He didn't see the news reports starting to come in. His phone was inside, and he was focused on training Max. Across town, people were starting to panic. The alien ships were visible now, even in daylight. They hung in the sky like giant metal clouds. "This is not a drill," said the emergency broadcast on TV and radio. "Unknown spacecraft have been detected in orbit. Please remain calm and stay indoors." The Garaxian commander sent his message to Earth an hour later. His face appeared on TV screens, computer screens, and phones all over the world. His black scales and multiple eyes scared many humans who saw him. "People of Earth," Skorthax said in a deep voice that had been translated to English, "your planet now belongs to the Garaxian Empire. Surrender your weapons and accept our rule, or we will destroy you all." World leaders gathered quickly to discuss what to do. Some wanted to fight back. Others thought surrender might save lives. While they argued, Commander Skorthax sent scout teams to Earth to learn more about humans. One scout ship landed in the woods near Ridgemont. Lieutenant Vrika led 4 Garaxian soldiers out of the small ship. They wore armor that helped them blend into their surroundings. "Remember, we observe only," Vrika told his team. "Do not engage with humans unless necessary." That evening, Joseph took Max for a walk on a trail near the woods. The puppy pulled on his leash, excited to explore new smells. "Easy boy," Joseph said. He hadn't seen the news yet and didn't know about the aliens. As they rounded a corner on the trail, Joseph stopped suddenly. About 20 feet ahead stood strange creatures. They looked like lizards but stood on 2 legs. They wore strange armor and held devices Joseph had never seen before. The Garaxians froze too, surprised to meet a human. Their eyes focused on Max, who barked happily at the new strangers. "What is that small creature?" Lieutenant Vrika asked in his own language. "It shows its teeth. Is it a weapon?" Joseph stayed calm. His military training taught him not to show fear. He slowly picked up Max, who wiggled and tried to lick his face. The aliens watched with great interest. They had never seen a human handling what looked like a small predator. In their world, predators were feared, not kept as companions. After a moment of silence, the aliens backed away and disappeared into the trees. Joseph stood there, confused by what he had seen. "That was weird, wasn't it, Max?" he said to his puppy, who just wagged his tail in response. He didn't know that this brief meeting would change everything. 3 days passed after Joseph met the strange creatures in the woods. During this time, he watched the news and learned about the aliens. Everyone called them the Garaxians. "It's crazy, Max," Joseph said to his puppy while watching TV. "Those were real aliens we saw." Max just wagged his tail and chewed on his toy. That night, Joseph went to bed early. He was tired from a long day of training dogs. Max slept in his small bed next to Joseph's. Around midnight, a bright light filled the bedroom. Joseph woke up, confused. Before he could move, he felt his body become stiff. He couldn't speak or move, but he could see. Strange figures entered his room. They looked like the creatures from the woods. The aliens picked up Joseph like he weighed nothing. One of them noticed Max, who was now awake and barking. "Take the small creature too," one alien said in a clicking language. "The commander wants to see it." The aliens lifted Max, who tried to bite them but couldn't through their armor. Then everything went dark for Joseph. When Joseph woke up, he was in a small room with metal walls. The floor was cold. Max was next to him, curled up and shaking a little. "It's okay, buddy," Joseph said, petting the puppy. Max licked his hand. The room had no windows, only a clear wall on one side. Through it, Joseph could see aliens walking past. They would stop and look at him, then hurry away. On the main deck of the huge alien ship, Commander Scorthax met with his science officer, Mellerin. She was smaller than the commander, with blue-green scales instead of black. "Tell me about the human and the small creature," Scorthax demanded. Mellerin showed him a screen with information. "The human male is named Joseph Carter. He was in Earth's military forces before. Our scans show he worked with animals as part of his job." "And the small creature?" the commander asked. "Very interesting," Mellerin said. "It is called a dog, or specifically a German Shepherd. It shares DNA with wolves, which are top predators on Earth." Scorthax looked at another screen showing Joseph and Max in their cell. "So this human keeps a predator as a pet. Why?" "We don't know yet," Mellerin admitted. "But humans have lived with these creatures for thousands of years. They raise them from birth, train them. The small one is just a baby. It will grow much larger. The humans must have great power to control predators like this," Scorthax said. "No wonder they resist us." In his cell, Joseph noticed something important. Each time Max barked or jumped around, the alien guards would step back. They seemed afraid of the puppy. "They're scared of you, Max," Joseph whispered, scratching behind the puppy's ears. "That's very interesting." A tall alien with special markings on his armor came to the cell. "Human," he said in rough English. "You will come with me now. Bring your creature." Joseph picked up Max and followed the guard. They walked through long hallways with curved ceilings. Other aliens stopped to watch them pass. All of them looked nervous when they saw Max. They entered a large room with many screens and control panels. In the center stood Commander Scorthax. He was bigger than the other aliens, with darker scales and bright red eyes. "Human," the commander said. "I am Scorthax, commander of the Garaxian fleet. You are now our prisoner." Joseph stood tall, holding Max in his arms. "What do you want from me?" "Information," Scorthax said. "About Earth's defenses, about your weapons." His eyes moved to Max. "And about that creature you control." Joseph looked down at Max, who was wagging his tail. A plan began to form in his mind. "His name is Max," Joseph said. "And you're right to be afraid of him." Joseph sat in a large room that looked like a mix between a science lab and a courtroom. Commander Scorthax sat on a raised platform, looking down at him. 5 other aliens stood nearby, watching carefully. "Tell us about your war beast," Commander Scorthax said. He pointed at Max, who was sniffing around the room, curious about the new smells. Joseph thought quickly. These aliens were afraid of Max. He could use that. "Max is a highly trained military asset," Joseph said, trying to sound serious. This was not completely true, but not completely false either. He had trained military dogs before. The commander's 6 eyes blinked. "Explain." "On Earth, we raise these animals from when they are babies," Joseph continued. "We form a special bond with them. They become loyal to us, and will attack anyone who tries to hurt us. This part was mostly true. Dogs were loyal. But Joseph made it sound more impressive than it was. This small creature will fight for you, one of the other aliens asked. She sounded doubtful. He's young now, but he will grow much bigger, Joseph said. German shepherds like Max can bring down animals 3 times their size. They can smell danger from far away. They can run faster than humans. All of these things were true about dogs, but Joseph was careful not to mention that Max was just a normal puppy, not a special weapon. Our scans show this creature shares DNA with your planet's wolves, Commander Skorthax said. Wolves are predators. Joseph nodded. Yes, dogs came from wolves. We humans spent thousands of years making them our companions. Only the best humans can control them properly. The aliens looked at each other, clearly impressed and a little scared. The human speaks truth, the female alien said to the commander. Our scans of Earth show many of these dogs living with humans. Different types, different sizes, but all related to predators. Commander Skorthax leaned forward. How many of these creatures do humans have? Millions, Joseph said truthfully. Almost every family has at least one. Some have many. This news spread through the ship quickly. Aliens who had never seen Earth now believed that humans had special powers to control predators. The Garaxians, who came from a planet where they were prey animals before they developed technology, found this idea terrifying. Meanwhile, back on Earth, a woman named Samantha Miller was working late in her NASA lab. She had short red hair and glasses. She was smart and determined. She was also Joseph's ex-girlfriend. I know he's up there somewhere, she said to her colleague, Alan. The satellite data shows the aliens took someone from Joseph's house. Samantha had been tracking the alien ships using special technology she had developed. She knew Joseph had been taken 3 days ago. What can we do? Ellen asked. We're just scientists, not soldiers. Samantha smiled. We're going to rescue him. How? Ellen looked shocked. I've been studying the alien ships, Samantha explained. They use a special kind of energy. I think I can track it. Maybe even find a way to get onto their ship. Back on the alien ship, Joseph was now living in a better room. It wasn't a cell anymore. It had a bed and even a small area for Max with soft blankets. The aliens were treating him with respect, even fear. They'd really believe you're dangerous, Joseph whispered to Max as the puppy played with a strange alien object that looked like a ball. Let's keep it that way. An alien guard brought them food. He put the tray down and stepped back quickly when Max barked. The commander wants to see the beast's abilities tomorrow, the guard said in broken English. Prepare for demonstration. After the guard left, Joseph sat on his bed and petted Max. Well, buddy, he said. Tomorrow we put on a show. Max wagged his tail, having no idea that the fate of Earth might depend on his ability to sit, stay, and roll over. The next day, Joseph stood in a large round room on the alien ship. About 30 Garaxians watched from seats that circled the room, like a small arena. Commander Skorthax sat on a bigger seat, looking down at Joseph and Max. The invasion is not going as planned, the commander said. His voice was angry. Earth's humans are fighting back better than we expected. We need to know more about your weapons and your war beasts. Joseph tried not to show his happiness at hearing that Earth was fighting back. He kept his face serious. Unleash the beast, Commander Skorthax ordered. Show us its combat abilities, or we will attack your cities immediately. Joseph looked down at Max. The puppy was chewing on the end of his leash, completely harmless. You mean this cute pup? He asked. Demonstrate now, the commander shouted. Joseph nodded. As you wish. I will show you some basic combat training routines. He took a deep breath and started the demonstration. First, he gave Max the command to sit. This is the combat-ready position, Joseph explained as Max sat down, tail wagging. The war beast is preparing to attack. The aliens watched closely, some taking notes on strange tablets. Next, Joseph threw a small ball he had in his pocket. Target acquisition, he called out. Max ran after the ball, picked it up, and brought it back. As you can see, Max can locate and retrieve objects with great speed, Joseph said. On a battlefield, this could be weapons or explosive devices. The aliens murmured among themselves, clearly impressed. Now watch this advanced maneuver, Joseph said. He gave Max the hand signal for down, and then roll over. Max happily dropped to the ground and rolled onto his back, paws in the air. His tongue hung out as he waited for a belly rub. This is the death trap maneuver, Joseph said seriously. The war beast appears vulnerable, but it's actually preparing for a surprise attack. Enemies who approach are typically eliminated. One alien took a step closer to look. Max, excited by the attention, suddenly jumped up and ran to the alien. Before Joseph could stop him, Max jumped up against the alien's legs. The alien screamed and fell backward. The other aliens gasped. Good boy, Max, Joseph said quickly, as if this had been planned. Stand down. Max ran back to Joseph for a treat. Joseph gave him a small piece of food he had saved from breakfast. As you can see, even without my command, the war beast protects me, Joseph said. He sensed the alien was too close. Commander Scorthax stood up. Impressive, but can it attack on command? Joseph nodded. Max, kiss. Max looked at Joseph, head tilted in confusion. Joseph pointed at the commander. Kiss. Max understood this game. He ran to the commander and jumped up, trying to lick his face. The commander fell back into his seat, terrified. What is it doing? He shouted as Max tried to lick him. Taste testing his prey, Joseph said quickly. This is how they decide where to bite first. The commander pushed Max away. Enough. Call it back. Max, Joseph said. Max ran back to him happily. The demonstration ended with the aliens looking both impressed and scared. They led Joseph and Max back to their room. Now they had even more respect for the human and his war beast. In his room later, Joseph gave Max lots of treats and belly rubs. You did great, buddy, he said. They have no idea you're just a sweet puppy. Meanwhile, on the bridge of the ship, Commander Scorthax was watching Earth on a big screen. The humans are more dangerous than we thought, he told his officers. Each of them controls at least one predator beast. We must rethink our invasion plans. Back on Earth, Samantha Miller worked day and night in her NASA lab. She had dark circles under her eyes from lack of sleep, but she didn't care. She had to save Joseph. I've got it, she said to her small team. They had been working for days on a plan. The alien scout ships used this frequency to communicate with the main ship. Ellen, her colleague with curly black hair, looked at her computer screen. So we can track them. Better, Samantha smiled. We can use this small scout ship that crashed last week to get onto their main ship. I can make it send the right signals so they think we're one of them. The team of 5 people worked for 2 more days to fix the damaged scout ship. It was small, about the size of a van, with strange controls. But Samantha was smart. She figured out how to fly it. Are we really doing this? Asked Lisa, another team member. Just 5 of us against an alien army. Yes, Samantha said firmly. The military is busy fighting the aliens all over the world. We can do this. We have to. That night, they flew the scout ship up to the huge alien mothership. Samantha sent the signals she had figured out, and the big ship let them in through an opening in its side. It worked, Helen whispered as they landed in a large room with many other scout ships. The team wore alien armor they had found in the crashed ship. It was too big for them, but it covered their faces. They walked through the hallways of the ship, trying to look like Garaxians. According to my scanner, Joseph is in section B7, Samantha said quietly. This way. As they walked, they noticed something strange. The alien crew seemed afraid. When they saw Samantha's team coming, many aliens quickly moved out of the way. "They're scared of us," Lisa said. "But why? They don't know we're human." They soon found out why. They heard two aliens talking in the hallway. The humans couldn't understand the alien language, but they heard one word clearly: dogs. "They keep saying something about dogs," Alan said. They reached section B7 and found a door with special markings. Samantha used the scanner to open it. Inside was not a prison cell, but a nice room. Joseph sat on a comfortable bed, and Max was playing with toys on a soft blanket made of shiny material. "Joseph," Samantha whispered, taking off her helmet. Joseph jumped up in surprise. "Samantha, how did you?" "No time to explain," she said. "We're here to rescue you." Joseph laughed. "Rescue me? I'm being treated like a king here." He pointed to Max. "They think he's some kind of super weapon. I've been telling them he's a trained military asset." Samantha's team looked at Max, who was now chewing on a fancy alien object. "You're telling me they're afraid of a puppy?" Alan asked. "They've never seen dogs before," Joseph explained. "They think humans control dangerous predators as weapons. I haven't corrected them." The team tried not to laugh as Joseph quickly told them about the demonstration he had given. "We need to go," Samantha said after a minute. "Our ship is waiting." They left the room together, with Joseph carrying Max. They were almost back to the landing area when alarms started blaring. Red lights flashed in the hallways. "What's happening?" Lisa asked. An announcement in the alien language came through speakers in the walls. They couldn't understand it, but it sounded urgent. "I think they discovered you're not aliens," Joseph said. They ran toward their stolen scout ship, but soon found their path blocked. 10 Gorexian soldiers stood in front of them, weapons pointed at the humans. "Halt!" one of the aliens shouted in rough English. "Do not move." The humans stood frozen in the hallway. 10 alien soldiers blocked their path to the scout ship, weapons pointed at them. More soldiers appeared behind them, cutting off any escape. "We are trapped," Alan whispered. Commander Scorthax pushed through the soldiers. His black scales shined under the red alarm lights. He looked angry. "You try to escape," he said to Joseph, "after we treated you well." Joseph stepped forward, still holding Max. "These are my friends. They came to find me." The commander's 6 eyes narrowed. "More humans on my ship." He looked at Samantha and the others. "How did you get here?" Before anyone could answer, the elevator doors at the end of the hallway opened. More aliens rushed out, including Mellorin, the science officer. "Commander," she called, "our scanners show the humans have brought more war beasts." The soldiers stepped back in fear. Commander Scorthax looked alarmed. "Is this true?" he asked Joseph. Joseph was confused. They hadn't brought any other dogs. Then he realized what had happened. The aliens had scanned the humans and found pictures of dogs on their phones. "Yes," Joseph said, thinking quickly. "My friends each have their own war beasts. They left them on the scout ship, ready to attack if we don't return." This was a lie, but the aliens didn't know that. The soldiers looked at each other nervously. "You have lied about many things," Commander Scorthax said. "Why should I believe you now?" At that moment, Max, who had been quiet in Joseph's arms, yawned loudly. His mouth opened wide, showing his small but sharp puppy teeth. Several soldiers jumped back in fear. Samantha saw this reaction and understood Joseph's plan. She decided to help. "Commander," she said in a strong voice, "what Joseph showed you was just basic training. You haven't seen what our war beasts can really do." She pulled out her phone and found pictures of dogs from her photo album. She showed the aliens photos of her neighbor's Rottweiler, her cousin's Great Dane, and her friend's Bulldog. "Each human family controls at least one war beast," she continued. "Some control many. They come in different sizes and types, each bred for different combat situations. The aliens looked at the photos with wide eyes. If you destroy Earth, Joseph added, millions of these war beasts will be released from human control. Without their handlers, they'll become wild, and they can smell Garaxian fear. Commander Scorthax looked worried now. Call your team on the scout ship, he ordered Samantha. Tell them to keep the war beasts calm. Samantha pretended to use her phone to call their ship. They're getting restless, she said after a minute. They can sense we're in danger. Let us go, Joseph said to the commander, or things will get ugly. To make his point stronger, Joseph put Max down on the floor. The puppy, happy to be free, ran toward the nearest alien soldier. The soldier screamed and dropped his weapon. Max wasn't attacking. He just wanted to play. But the aliens didn't know that. The commander raised his hand. Stop. Take your war beast and go. All of you. He turned to his soldiers. Let them pass. The soldiers moved aside, keeping as far from Max as possible. The humans walked toward their scout ship, trying not to smile or laugh. This isn't over, Commander Scorthax called after them. We will meet again, human. Joseph looked back. We look forward to it. Next time, I'll bring an adult war beast. As they reached the scout ship, Alan couldn't hold his laughter anymore. I can't believe they're terrified of a puppy, he whispered. Shh, Samantha warned. We're not safe yet. They climbed into the small ship. As the door closed behind them, they finally allowed themselves to smile. Their bluff had worked. While the humans escaped in their stolen scout ship, Alan had a clever idea. Wait, he said, I downloaded some files from the ship's computer while we were looking for Joseph. What kind of files? Samantha asked as she piloted the ship away from the Garaxian mothership. The ship's communication system, Alan said. And I brought these. He held up small speakers he had taken from the NASA lab. Within minutes, Alan had connected the speakers to the alien ship's communication frequency. He played a recording on his phone. The sounds of dogs barking, howling, and growling. This should keep them busy, he said with a smile. Aboard the Garaxian mothership, panic spread quickly. The sounds of unknown creatures echoed through every hallway and room. To the aliens, it sounded like war beasts were loose on their ship. They've released their predators. One alien crew member shouted. Others ran in fear, hiding in rooms and closets. Commander Scorthax tried to keep control. Calm down, he ordered. There are no Earth beasts on this ship. But the barking and growling continued. No one believed him. On the bridge, the commander made a difficult decision. Prepare to leave Earth's orbit, he ordered. We are retreating. But Commander, his second-in-command protested. The High Command expects us to conquer this planet. The High Command doesn't know what we're facing, Scorthax replied. These humans control predators as weapons. Each human family has at least one. There are billions of humans on Earth, which means billions of these war beasts. We cannot win this fight. The giant alien ships began to move away from Earth. People on the ground watched and cheered as the dark shadows disappeared into space. The small scout ship landed safely at NASA. Joseph, Samantha, and the team were met by military officers and government officials. You need to tell us everything, a general said to Joseph. Joseph explained how the aliens feared dogs and how this fear had saved him, and possibly Earth. As he told the story, Max sat in his lap, tail wagging, completely unaware that he had helped save the world. 2 weeks later, after the aliens had completely left Earth's solar system, Joseph and Samantha sat in a park. Max, wearing a new collar with a special medal, played with other dogs nearby. The president called again. Joseph said, "They want us to help create a new defense program using dogs as our ambassadors to any future aliens." Samantha laughed. "So basically, they want to make sure all first contact teams have a puppy with them." "Pretty much," Joseph nodded. Max has been promoted to Earth's first interstellar ambassador. They watched as Max rolled in the grass with a golden retriever puppy. "You know what's funny?" Samantha said. "In trying to find our weakness, the aliens actually discovered one of our greatest strengths." "What's that?" Joseph asked. "Our connection with animals," she said. "Humans are probably the only species that form such strong bonds with other species. The aliens couldn't understand it." Joseph nodded. It must have seemed like magic to them, or some kind of special power. News reports later revealed that the Garaxian High Command had classified Earth as extremely dangerous and protected by predator beasts. No Garaxian ship was to come near our solar system again. As the sun began to set, Joseph called Max. The puppy came running, his new metal shining in the evening light. "Who would have thought?" Joseph said, scratching Max behind his ears. "All those years of evolution led to this. Humanity saved by man's best friend." Max licked his face in response. To him, it had all been a fun adventure. He didn't know he was a hero. He was just a good boy. The end.